What if one of the biggest favorites to win the FIFA World Cup is only 90 minutes away from elimination? It sounds impossible, but that's exactly what's at stake. Brazil, the five-time world champions, now face a fearless Norway side led by the unstoppable Erling Haaland. One team carries the weight of football history. The other has absolutely nothing to lose. Could this be another unforgettable World Cup upset, or will Brazil prove why they're still one of football's greatest giants? Everything is now on the line. This is no longer the group stage where one mistake can be recovered in the next match. This is the round of 16. Lose tonight, and your World Cup dream ends immediately. The match is scheduled to be played at the spectacular Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, USA, one of the premier venues of the FIFA World Cup 2026. With more than 65,000 passionate fans expected to fill the stands, the atmosphere will be electric from the first whistle. Around the world, millions of football fans will be watching. Because whenever Brazil steps onto a World Cup pitch, history is never far away. But this time, history faces one of Europe's fastest rising football nations. Norway believes this is their moment. Brazil haven't simply reached the round of 16. They've arrived looking every bit like genuine title contenders. Throughout the tournament, they've played with confidence, flair, and the attacking football that has defined Brazilian greatness for generations. Every match has carried the same message. This team isn't afraid to entertain. They want possession. They want control. And above all, they want goals. Unlike many teams that rely on one superstar, Brazil attack from every direction. One moment the danger comes from the left. The next, it arrives through the middle. Seconds later, another winger is racing down the opposite flank. Stopping one Brazilian attacker is difficult. Stopping all of them is almost impossible. For years, people questioned whether Brazil had lost the beautiful style that made them legendary. Those doubts are beginning to disappear. This squad has found the perfect balance between creativity and discipline. Instead of rushing every attack, Brazil patiently move the ball, waiting for defenders to make just one mistake. And when that mistake happens, they strike with ruthless precision. That patience has become one of their greatest weapons during this World Cup. They no longer rely only on spectacular individual moments. Now they build attacks as a complete team. Every player understands their role. Every movement creates space for someone else. That's what makes this Brazilian side so dangerous. If there's one player Norway will fear before kickoff, it's Vinícius Jr. Every time he receives the ball, defenders immediately begin retreating. Not because they're afraid of making a mistake, but because they know what happens if they give him even 1 yard of space. His acceleration is explosive. His dribbling is unpredictable. And perhaps most importantly, he never stops attacking. Even when he doesn't score, he changes matches. Two defenders often rush toward him, leaving teammates completely free in dangerous areas. That's why Vinícius is far more than just a goal scorer. He's a player who changes the entire shape of a defense. Norway's biggest challenge may not be stopping him. It may simply be surviving his constant pressure. While Vinícius grabs the headlines, Rodrigo quietly makes Brazil even stronger. He doesn't always need spectacular goals to influence a match. His intelligence does the work. Watch him closely, and you'll notice something special. He's constantly moving, finding spaces defenders don't even realize exist. His first touch is calm. His decision-making is quick. And under pressure? He almost never panics. Players like Rodrigo make football look easy. That's exactly why they're so valuable in knockout football. One clever run. One perfectly timed pass. One moment of brilliance. That's often all it takes to decide a World Cup match. Championships aren't won by attackers alone. The midfield wins tournaments. And Brazil's midfield has quietly become one of the strongest in this World Cup. Bruno Guimarães brings composure and intelligence every time he touches the ball. He knows exactly when to speed up the attack. And exactly when to slow the game down. Beside him, Brazil have midfielders capable of breaking pressure with quick, accurate passing. Instead of forcing risky plays, they patiently recycle possession until gaps begin to appear. Against Norway, this battle in midfield could decide everything. Because if Brazil dominate possession, their attacking stars will receive far more opportunities. But here's something many fans are overlooking. Brazil aren't perfect. They've looked unstoppable going forward. Yet defensively, there have been moments of vulnerability. Quick counterattacks have caused problems. Fast strikers running behind the defensive line have created dangerous situations. Against most teams, Brazil have recovered quickly. But against Norway, those small defensive mistakes could become very expensive. Because waiting on the other side is one of the most clinical finishers football has ever seen. And that's where this story takes a dramatic turn. Erling Haaland and Norway believe Brazil can be beaten. But this is where the story becomes truly fascinating. Most underdogs arrive at the World Cup hoping to stay competitive. Norway arrived believing they could beat anyone. They didn't fight through qualification just to admire Brazil from the opposite side of the pitch. They came to create history. For years, Norwegian football searched for a generation capable of competing with Europe's elite. Now, they finally have it. A squad filled with confidence, physical strength, technical quality, and players performing at the highest level of club football. That confidence has transformed Norway into one of the tournament's most dangerous dark horses. And Brazil knows it. The Haaland factor. Every great World Cup match has one player capable of changing everything in a single moment. For Norway, that player is Erling Haaland. Standing over 6 feet 4 inches tall, Haaland is much more than a traditional striker. He's a nightmare for defenders. His speed is extraordinary. His strength is unmatched. His finishing is among the very best in world football. Give him one clear chance. Just one. And there's a very good chance the ball ends up in the back of the net. That's what makes Brazil's defenders nervous. They know they can dominate possession for 89 minutes. But if Haaland gets one opening, everything can change instantly. Knockout football is often decided by moments. And nobody punishes defensive mistakes better than Erling Haaland. Martin Odegaard, the man who pulls the strings. But Haaland cannot do it alone. Behind every great striker is someone capable of creating magic. For Norway, that's Martin Odegaard. The captain isn't the fastest player on the field. He doesn't rely on physical strength. Instead, he controls matches with intelligence. His vision is remarkable. He spots passing lanes that most players never even notice. When Norway begin an attack, everything usually flows through him. One quick turn. One perfectly weighted through ball. One clever pass between defenders. And suddenly Brazil's back line is under pressure. If Odegaard is allowed time on the ball, Norway become a completely different team. Stopping him may be just as important as stopping Haaland. Norway's biggest strength. Many people think Norway are simply a counterattacking team. That's only part of the story. Their greatest strength is organization. Every player understands exactly where to be. When they lose possession, they immediately fall back into a compact defensive shape. The spaces disappear. Passing lanes close. Opponents are forced wide. And that's exactly where Norway want them. Patience is their weapon. They don't mind defending for long periods. Because they know one successful counterattack can completely change the game. Against Brazil's attacking fullbacks, those fast transitions could become deadly. The midfield war. The real battle may not happen inside either penalty area. It could happen in midfield. Brazil will try to control possession through Bruno Guimaraes and their creative midfielders. Norway will rely on Odegaard to break that rhythm. Whoever controls this area of the pitch will probably control the match. If Brazil move the ball quickly, Norway could spend long periods chasing shadows. But if Norway win possession and release Odegaard early, Brazil's defenders will suddenly find themselves racing backward against one of the fastest strikers in football. That's exactly the situation Brazil wants to avoid. Another fascinating matchup will unfold out wide. Vinícius Jr against Norway's right side. Every time Vinícius receives possession, defenders face an impossible decision. Step too close, and he'll sprint past you. Stand too far away, and he'll cut inside toward goal. Norway's fullbacks must stay disciplined for the entire 90 minutes. Because switching off for even 1 second could decide the match. On the opposite flank, Rafinha's relentless pressing will test Norway's ability to play out from the back. His energy could force mistakes in dangerous areas. These individual battles may ultimately determine who reaches the quarterfinals. If you enjoyed this documentary-style preview, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Football Vault, and turn on notifications so you never miss our FIFA World Cup 2026 predictions, highlights, and football documentaries. Until next time, enjoy the game. Soccer ball fire.